Most people go their entire lives never asking this type of question. And because of that, they walk away from conversations feeling like something was missing, like the interaction never quite went anywhere. Here's the truth. The quality of your questions decides the quality of every relationship you build. In this video, you'll learn 4 question strategies that create real connection, help you dodge uncomfortable situations without looking suspicious, and I'm saving this for the end. One counterintuitive technique that makes authority figures respect you before you've even proven yourself. That last one will surprise you. Stay until the end. So, what's the question almost nobody asks? Researchers at UC Berkeley studied thousands of first dates to figure out exactly what made someone want a second one. They expected looks, shared interests, sense of humor, but the number one factor, above all of that, was how many follow-up questions one person asked the other. Not their job, not their income, not how charming they were. Follow-up questions. So why does that actually work? Because a follow-up question sends one silent message that almost nobody delivers in conversation. I'm actually paying attention to you. And in a world where most people are mentally drafting their next sentence while you're still talking, that lands harder than almost anything else you could say. But here's the part most people miss. A follow-up question isn't just any question after someone speaks. There's a specific technique that makes it land every time. It's called the echo technique. Imagine you're talking to someone and they say, "I'm really excited about next weekend." Most people either respond with something about themselves, or worse, pivot to something completely unrelated. The echo technique does something different. You take their exact words and reflect them back. "You're excited about next weekend. What's happening?" That's it. Simple, but that small move signals something powerful. Your words were worth repeating. Try it in your next conversation. You'll be genuinely surprised how quickly people open up. Now, there's something deeper happening in every conversation that most people never notice. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. But first, here's where things get really interesting. And it connects directly to why some people build deep connections fast, while others stay stuck at the surface forever. Every conversation is running on 2 levels at once. There's the surface level, what someone literally says. And there's the underlying level, what they actually want to talk about. When someone says, "I travel once a year," they're not just sharing a fact. They're throwing bait into the water, hoping you'll ask where they've been, why it matters, what it felt like the first time they finally felt free somewhere, unfamiliar. Your job? Take the bait. Focus your follow-up questions on 5 areas. Their experiences, their dreams, what they love, their passions, and their motivations. What got you into that? Motivation. How did it feel when you actually did it? Experience. How would your life look if you went all in on that? Dream. Every one of those questions puts the spotlight on them. And people, without exception, love the spotlight. Here's a question. Can 2 complete strangers fall in love in under an hour? Sounds impossible. But it happened. And it was documented. In the 1990s, researchers called the Aaron couple ran a now famous experiment. They placed groups of complete strangers in one of 2 situations. Group 1 made small talk, whatever came naturally. Group 2 worked through a structured set of questions that slowly increased in depth and intimacy over time. The result? Group 2 liked each other significantly more. They wanted to meet again. They felt genuinely close to someone they had met less than an hour earlier. 2 of those strangers ended up getting married. But here's the part people always overlook when they hear this story. The questions didn't start deep. Set 1 was almost casual. Who would you invite to dinner, living or dead? Set 2 got more personal. What's your most treasured memory? Set 3 went deep. What do you already appreciate about the person sitting across from you? The intimacy built gradually, never dropped on someone all at once. So why does that matter? Because people only reveal something real about themselves after they've already revealed something smaller. Self-disclosure compounds, but only when you don't rush it. Think of it this way. You wouldn't sprint before you stretch. Same logic applies here. Start safe, then build. And when you do, what people share with you will genuinely surprise you. There's one more strategy coming at the end of this video that flips the power dynamic entirely, especially with people who have authority over you. We're almost there. Picture this. You're in a job interview. Dream company. You've prepared for weeks. Every answer has landed exactly the way you rehearsed. Then the interviewer leans forward and asks, "What were you earning at your last job?" Your stomach drops. Here's the trap. Research shows that answering honestly raises your chances of being financially exploited, but refusing to answer drops rapport immediately and signals you're hiding something. Most people either overshare, awkwardly deflect, or go completely silent. All three damage the interaction. So, what's the real move? Respond with a question. They ask, "What were you earning before?" You say, "Can you tell me more about the salary range for this role?" They ask, "Do you plan on having children?" You say, "Do you have kids yourself?" But why does that actually work? Because when you outright refuse to answer something, the missing answer becomes more valuable in the other person's mind. They assume the worst. They dig harder. But when you respond with a relevant question, staying in the same lane, never pivoting to something random, you keep the conversation moving. You redirect the spotlight. And because human attention naturally follows questions, they go with it. Then, a few exchanges later, you change the topic entirely. Redirect. Don't retreat. That's the rule. If this is helping you so far, a like and subscribe takes 2 seconds and genuinely helps. More content like this keeps coming because of that. Here's something most people never consider. A single poorly phrased question can cost you money, lose you opportunities, and hand people a way out before they've even started being honest with you. And the worst part? You won't even realize you've done it. Here's the scenario. You find a secondhand iPhone on eBay. Great price. But you're not sure if it's broken. So you message the seller. "It doesn't have any problems, does it? What just happened?" You handed them the exit before they even had to look for one. That question implies the answer. You've already signaled, "I expect it to be fine." All they have to do is agree, even if the phone is falling apart. Now imagine you're at a networking event. You've just met someone impressive and you want to know if their company has had legal issues in the past. So you ask, "You haven't had any legal problems, have you?" Same trap, different room, same result. Here's the fix. And it's simple. Flip the assumption. Instead of asking if there's no problem, ask what the problem is. What issues does it have? Now the seller has to justify the phone's condition rather than simply confirm your hope. This goes everywhere. Ending a presentation? Don't say, "No one has any questions, do they?" Say, "What questions do you have?" Viewing a rental apartment? Don't ask, "Are the neighbors fine?" Ask, "Have previous tenants complained about noise?" Questions are spotlights. They direct attention. They shape what gets said and what stays hidden. Assume the problem exists. Ask toward the truth. You'll be amazed how much more honest people become when you simply stop giving them permission to lie. Here's the final strategy, the one I promised at the beginning, and it's the most counterintuitive thing in this entire video. A study at Harvard had participants take a quiz while receiving different messages from people watching them. Some received encouragement. "Keep going, you're doing great." One group received something completely different. "Hey, do you have any advice on this?" Which group was perceived as more competent and likable? The advice group, by a clear margin. So why does that work? Here's the psychological mechanism. Asking for advice signals something that no compliment can replicate. It tells the other person, quietly without a single flattering word, "I already think highly enough of you to want your perspective." That implied respect strokes the ego in a way that direct praise never can. Because flattery is obvious. People smell it instantly and become suspicious of your motives. Advice is invisible. It implies the compliment. It doesn't announce it. So when you're starting a new job, walking into a room full of experienced people, or trying to build rapport with someone who has authority over you, don't try to impress them. Ask for their advice. 2 rules. Make sure it's something they genuinely know about, and not something a 10-second search would answer. Asking someone respected for advice on something trivial wastes their time and signals low awareness. This is actually the first law in the 48 Laws of Power. Never outshine the master. Don't walk into a new room trying to be the sharpest person in it. Ask one well-placed question instead. And watch how quickly that room opens up to you. Most people believe the smartest person in the room controls the conversation. They're wrong. The person who asks the best questions does. Because questions don't just gather information, they direct attention. They shape emotion. They decide what people remember long after the conversation ends. Every interaction you have from this point forward, it isn't decided by how much you know or how impressive you sound. It's decided by what you ask and when. So here's what you're taking with you today. Ask follow-up questions. Take the bait. Use the echo technique. and listen for what people want to talk about. Not just what they're saying. Start safe, then build. Earn the depth before you demand it. Deflect uncomfortable questions with relevant questions. Redirect, don't refuse. Assume the problem exists. Ask toward the truth, not away from it. Ask people with authority for advice. Let the question do the work that flattery never could. 5 strategies. 1 core truth. The right question, asked at the right moment, doesn't just get you a better answer. It changes how someone feels about you. Completely. Thanks for watching, and until next time.